I'm Andrenica Schulte at the Courtney Air Park, and for community producers we have some awesome stories. We've got stories about children, stories about the environment, and about music. So I'm going to take you through this wonderful journey from the Comox Valley, also to Campbell River. Stay with me. From Mark Henley reporting and Sue Wood, the community producer, Music Fest. How do we represent Music Fest? Well, with a beautiful image.
Vancouver Island Music Festival is known for its cooperation. Musicians flock here from all over the world. That level of cooperation creates great music, but it creates other things too. The cooperation exudes beyond the stage through the management and all the volunteers. A real example of that came about this year with the creation of the image for the festival. This year's image was created by Adrian Tomlin, a Comox Valley artist.
I'm a little overwhelmed with the whole idea. I consider myself a closet artist. I do it for my own downtime. I've never really done it to be famous or to be out there. So to see this, it's flattering. It's nice.
The image for Music Fest is critical for the organization. It's used to brand the festival every year. This year's image, octopus hoarding instruments, started with a line drawing.
It's a doodle. It started off with just being an octopus in my sketchbook. It originally was holding a roller skate where the guitar was.
And while we understand that Adrian is committed to the art of her image, for Music Fest there is a business aspect to it that cannot be understated.
We're so excited about it. You see, each year it's a little bit of a process to find the image for each festival. We think about it very carefully because this image goes on everything. It goes on all of the merchandise, all of the thousands of posters that are printed, the program. It really does carry the load of representing the festival for the year. So choosing it is a very careful and considered process.
With support and encouragement for her image, Adrian now set about to create a final product. And here's where the story gets really interesting. She, following the cooperative nature of Music Fest, spread the work around to friends, family, neighbors.
And I allowed everybody to have input, including my family, including Music Fest coordinators, everybody. And I took a little bit from everybody and threw it all together. So I basically had the line drawing and I passed it out like playing cards to everybody, including their friends, including some neighbors. And I said, bring it all back and let me know what you have. And what I did is I took all of those ideas and I brought that back to Music Fest. So talking with Creslin and talking with Marcy, I said, these are a whole bunch of ideas. This is something that I did, this is something that somebody else did. What do you like?
The staff at Music Fest got involved in the production too.
When this wonderful piece of art happened, everybody was over the moon and thrilled to have the cooperative nature of fixing a little bit of this, tweaking a little bit of that. Can we do this? Can we do that? Adrian was open to all of it, and working with her was wonderful.
Adrian's poster is out and about already, so keep your eyes open for it. As for Music Fest, mid-July weekend is the one to knock off. Emmylou Harris, Bare Naked Ladies, Rita Coolidge, and Bruce Coburn. It's going to be a great music festival this year. For Shaw TV and Vancouver Island Music Festival, I'm Mark Hanley.
I'd like to thank all of the community producers who have volunteered their time to share some great stories about what's happening in their community. If you're interested in volunteering, please just contact Shaw TV and they'd love to hear from you.
Request access to air your content on the community producers. Volunteer with us. Join a free TV workshop. Check out these websites.
Judy Murakami has our next community producer story from Cumberland Community School, Children and Animation.
Education has come a long way since we were in school, and now we have the benefit of animation, computers. For Pamela Twins' class at Cumberland Elementary, they come up with amazing projects. Sean Piggott is a well-respected filmmaker and videographer, so he's been helping out Pamela Twins' class because his son Linus is now in her class.
What's nice about this particular project is it's a blending of low-tech with, pencil crayons on paper with high-tech scanning them in and doing all the motion. So you still get that hand-drawn look in the sense that the kids all did their own pictures. But you use the technology to leverage it to have something that has more of a polished look and would be very hard to do manually, photo, slight movement, so on and so forth. The one thing I noticed, and you'll notice some of these are a little bit slower. Because what I found is I did the dance, and then when I compared them to all the rest of them, some people looked like they were dancing a little slow. So I wanted everyone to sort of look like they were dancing with the same amount of energy.
I really like how he makes the characters move. It's an interesting way of how they do it, of how he does it.
Because you seem really interested in cameras and all the things that help make pictures.
Yes, when I grow up I want to be a filmer.
That's the great thing about teaching in the community of Cumberland, in a small community with a lot of creative people. Their parents in the school, they're community involved, they're just real community members and always willing to kind of do something interesting for us.
You have 44 students here that you're animating.
It was one of those things that I tried not to think about the math too early on. Like, okay, if one student takes 45 minutes times 4, oh wow. It's more do the first one, do the second, oh I like this now, what am I going to do? And then, when you're halfway through, you start to think, okay, this isn't quite done yet. But, then you start to see the results. You do a test edit and you go, oh, okay, this is working well. And then, it's sort of fun as you see the final result come out.
What did you like about the animation?
I liked that they move the hands
It's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That computers can make that happen.
There's dots, and where he moves the dots is where the character moves. And if he moves them and there's a dot in the middle, and when you push that dot and spin, the whole character spins upside down if you're going to make him do something like a headstand.
They're, as you can see, very hardworking and creative boys and girls, and always up for an adventure and a new challenge.
From Cumberland Elementary, this is Judy Murakami for Shaw TV.
We have another great story about dads, brought to us by Kayla and Daryl of Kayla McDonald Productions. They're profiling someone that's just an awesome dad.
Silas is a great dad. He works hard all day, puts in long hours, but still finds time to coach his son's soccer team and to go to dance rehearsals with Avery's daughter and do the father-daughter dance at the year-end recital.
I want to tell you a little bit about an awesome dad I know named Silas Merrick. I coach with him in soccer, and I have for a number of years. And I noticed, especially last year, we had a few students, a few kids that needed a little extra help and a little extra support with personal issues they were going through. And Silas just stepped up to the plate without batting an eye and supported those families and supported those kids, and it really helped them find their feet and become grounded again. And I also know him through the Pantuso dance family. He is an amazing person who just likes to give, and yeah, it's really wonderful to know him. So congratulations, Silas. Well deserved.
First of all, my son-in-law is always very loving and very enthused about his kids. He loves to do things with them casually. They go to the beach, they go do kicking the ball around, they just go for drives and go places that are going to be fun, to the pool, etc. He coaches his son's soccer team. He runs back and forth a lot for my granddaughter's dance classes and attends all the functions that both of them are ever in. He's also a great husband. His wife recently, my daughter, broke her foot, her heel. So he took over because she wasn't able to do very much and she couldn't put any weight on her foot. So she was laid up and he got the groceries, he made the dinners, the breakfast, their lunches, did housework. He just did all kinds of work around the house and for his wife and the kids. As a son-in-law for my husband and I, he's always very loving, kind, and very willing to help out in anything he can. He's just Johnny on the spot. If I ask him anything, he whips right over and helps out. He drops in for coffee once in a while. And he's just a very loving force in all our lives. And we're really happy he's in our lives. He's just always cheery and loving and positive and optimistic.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back after some community messages and spotlights. Thank you, Sean Piggott of Fox and Bee Studios. Our next story combines beautiful imagery, a little bit of history, and beautiful music. Sean has shown us a perspective of the history of the Cumberland Community Forest.
Request access to air your content on the Community Producers. Volunteer with us. Join a free TV workshop. Check out these websites.
Catherine Temple is our next community producer. She's up in Campbell River and she's going to show us, recommend the top 5 nature walks in Campbell River.
Got a wide range of very diverse trails, and one of the things that I find is that most people always seem to go to the same ones. So we've gone out today and we have taped a couple of trails that most people don't go on that are basically our top picks. They're all very close to town, they're all got really easy access, and they're all quite diverse. At Lost Lake, and this is a really nice little loop in the Snowdon Demonstration Forest, which has got a myriad of trails on it. It's about 100 kilometers of single track trails in Snowdon. So if you're going to be in here, make sure you've got a map. But there are a couple of really beautiful gems in this area, and a couple of really nice lakes like Lost Frog Lake and Riley Lake, and this of course is Lost Lake. So there's lots of opportunity here to hike all day long if you choose to do so, and the vistas are beautiful. Here we are on the Quinson River Trail, and as you can see, it's kind of like a work in progress right now, but the Heathens Alpine Club has built these absolutely beautiful stairs on the trail. We know that there has been some degrading of the trail because of the Quinson River that's in the background. So this is the beginning of them rehabilitating this trail. And let me tell you, this is a beauty of a trail, especially at this time of year, because we've got all these new flowers and the fiddleheads are out, and we've got a beautiful maple forest at the bottom. And then of course there's always the Quinson River, which changes by the season. So this is a definite must to put on your radar. We're on the Merck Thompson Trail right now, and this trail, because it's part of the Campbell River estuary system and it goes right out into the estuary itself, there are a ton of birds here, from kingfishers to eagles to raven, which is right over there, all kinds of ducks, swans, geese, you name it, hummingbirds, swallows. You can see almost any kind of bird that you want to see here. So this is the kind of trail that you come to when you want to kind of commune with nature. Now we're up in McIver Lake, and this is a really kind of a neat trail system. It's not something that people come on very often, but it starts right as you get off the highway and come onto McIver Lake Road. There is a gate there, and the trail almost starts right there. I think you have to go just a little bit past the gate, but the trail follows the lake all the way along to the main beaches, and even the main beaches are tied to each other, so it's a really beautiful spot to come. And as you can see from here, it's pretty surreal also. There's lots of other trails up in this area. There's a couple of them that'll take you on a big 5-kilometer loop that they used to do the mud run on, and that was a bike race, and it is a beautiful trail. It's got all kinds of sloughs on it, and you can actually see the Campbell River from that area. So it's something that not a lot of people do, but it certainly is well worth coming up and trying. We are on the Willow Creek Trail right now, which is one of my favorites. It's not a difficult trail, even though there is quite a little bit of a slope if you want to get some cardio up on this side, and a really cool pond at the top, which often has ducks in it. But the neat thing about this trail is the creek. The creek itself varies from season to season. In the wintertime, parts of it freeze over, which is really cool because you get all kinds of different ice formations. Right now, the wildflowers are in bloom and they are everywhere. So it's just a gorgeous trail. It takes about, I'd say about 40 minutes to cover the whole thing if you're doing it at a slow walk, and it's a great place to bring your pup for a walk. It's a great place just to come and get some breathing space for a few minutes.
Sue Vince is our community producer for our next story, a commemorative ride for Paul Bally, and a reminder for all of us to be extra aware of cyclists Be extra cautious, be aware, and be respectful.
What do you say about a guy that you've worked with for 8 years? Put your life in his hands, and then boom.
In memory of Paul Bally and in support of his family's wishes, Comox Valley residents ride their bikes on Highway 19A between Fanny Bay and Courtenay to raise awareness on cycling safety.
All of us were struck deeply hearing of the senseless tragedy that happened. We'll never know what happened that night.
What happened to Paul can't be fixed. It can only be carried. This is a tough thing for Paul's family, his friends, and his community to carry. And that's what we're going to do.
The cycling community rides in a positive spirit. They recognize when the tacit trust between a car and a bike is broken, the bike rider always loses. They ride for safety awareness and infrastructure changes on Highway 19A so that people walking and riding a bike on this community connector route are protected.
Paul was a 10-year member of our department. He was a victim of a hit-and-run motor vehicle incident. He will be missed by all members of the department. No one can ever explain the sadness and sorrow this incident brings to our firefighter group.
We together can make sense out of this by working to make a better, safer transportation system.
Our children deserve better, and I want you to know that I stand with you guys, and that I'll push, I'll pull, I'll cycle, I'll do whatever it takes.
When we hear of a bike car tragedy, we are often overwhelmed with emotions of disbelief, fear, anger, and grief. It takes time to generate a useful community response. This bike ride and rally was organized as a means to help foster change, support Paul's family, and learn more about who Paul was, honor his memory, and appreciate his many contributions to our community.
So Paul was a father. And I think he was a damn good father. He was a teacher. He was a mentor. You could go to Paul with an issue. You'd sit down and talk to you about it. He was a community leader, part of our fire department. He was a great first aider. And so he was a very competent guy. You could ask Paul to do any job in the fire department and he was ready to do it.
The event message is simple. People on bikes are valuable members of our community, but their safety while cycling has not been adequately considered. The hope is our local, provincial, and federal governments listen and understand that a comprehensive transportation budget is needed on this section of Highway 19A.
You know, we promote people riding bicycles, saves the environment, keeps people healthy and everything else, but many of the roads don't have a really good spot for cyclists to ride.
We're here to support Evelyn and her family and just hopefully raise awareness for safer cycling. You know, hopefully one day we'll maybe have a path on this highway.
And hopefully just being out here will kind of raise awareness that we are pretty vulnerable on the road and that people need to, you know, keep their eyes open and just, you know, look for us. We're very, very vulnerable.
The ride was a real success, almost 100 people, and it's just really great to be together and to have everyone united and be together.
I'd personally like to thank Paul's wife and children for allowing us to honor Paul's memory and use it for, you know, a positive community benefit. So thank you very much.
I hope you've enjoyed these stories from our community producers. I sure have, and I'm so excited to live in this community where there's so much going on. If you'd like to get involved, please contact Shaw TV and they'd be happy to hear from you. From the Comox Valley, I'm Andrina Kasholti, your host of Community Producers.